Hello my fellow minions, welcome to the first in a series I will be running called Deathsminion's DM Basics. Come along with me as I share with you all the knowledge I currently have about being a DM, and with this knowledge you too will become a pro in no time flat. Now today we'll be talking about the most basic thing you need to begin your campaign, and that is how to create a setting for your campaign to run through. Now first off, you might be thinking that this should be the easy part, right? And in a lot of ways that can be correct. However, world building and story building can be difficult to do in a campaign, mostly because more often than not, the party loves to go off the rails of a campaign story pretty easy. And you never want to railroad a story because it makes the players feel like they have lost free will and choice within your campaign. And when the players feel like they have lost free will and choice, they begin to lose interest, which can lead to them not even wanting to play in your campaign or even wanting to start a new campaign instead. So to avoid all of this hard pushing, I allow my characters always a free choice, almost running campaigns like a sort of open narrative that they are part of. To do this though, you must have three things: a vast knowledge of the world you made and what might be within it, a story, and a sense of time. Now I'll explain more on this later, but let's get started. So the first thing you must make is the story. This is fairly important because this will be the setting of your world and give your player characters, or PCs, a reason to be together. The easiest way to create these stories is by starting at the end. At least that's what I've always found to be the easiest way. The climactic battle that will be at the end of your adventurer's long quest. This can be anything you want, say defeating a giant dragon terrifying the land, or maybe an evil necromancer rising countless undead to destroy all life, or maybe your player characters get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, and now are on the run from the law for more of a survival-esque kind of campaign. Whatever kind of story you want to tell, it's normally good to figure out what kind of adventure your players want to have, and maybe even run the gist of the campaign by them to see if they might enjoy that idea. So now we're going to have some fun with world building, which is probably my favorite part of creating a campaign. Now, you don't have to make everything in your campaign from scratch. There are plenty of resources for Pathfinder, D&D, and almost every other RPG with cities, people, guilds, lore, creatures, and even stories you can have access to for your campaign. Use these resources as much as you can because it will make your life so much easier when you're starting out. Now, granted, what you had in mind may not fully be there, and that's okay. You can still always make something up from scratch. It is your world after all, and you are the literal god of this world. You can make anything you want come into existence or out of it. It is important to remember that part of creation is to get a good idea of your world and what's within it. You are going to need this knowledge because the party will always surprise you no matter how much planning you do. They always seem to figure out a way to do something new or surprising. To give you an example, let's say your party is meeting in the tavern at the start of your adventure. They don't know each other and they are low level. As they are relaxing, some bandits come in and try to rob the tavern and everyone in it. Now the party is outnumbered and outmatched, so when you first make this encounter, you're like, they will just hand over their money and grumble about it, and then try to go on and defeat the bandits later when they have the upper hand of surprise. But as the bandits reveal themselves, your adventurers begin attacking the bandits, outnumbered 2-1. A big battle ensues, 2 party members are killed, but the other 2 keep rolling really high on their attacks and take out almost all the bandits. Well, now 2 of your party members are dead, and the other 2, while victorious, now have to deal with more bandit problems later. I've had adventurers win unwinnable scenarios, and I've had them lose completely winnable scenarios, like one goblin attacking them for no reason. So be prepared to expect these kinds of things from your party. Also, to not TPK a party, maybe give unwinnable scenarios like these non-lethal options, like maybe all the bandits use saps, and once somebody is knocked out, they then kidnap that person, giving the other players more reason to help later. Just be prepared to improvise on the spot, so that you can manage to keep your story on track and yet allow them to do what they want to do. Because after all, this is the game you are creating for them to play through. It's basically for them above all else. The final thing you are going to need is a sense of time. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, I love using timelines in my campaigns. By creating a sort of timeline for your story, you can have your adventurers do or not do things which can change the story later based on their actions. So to use a little example, let's say you're having them fight a powerful necromancer at the end. Okay, so the first thing the necromancer maybe needs to do is get an army going. So, first on your timeline is an event in a city where people are going missing. Upon investigating, your party discovers a cult is capturing people and turning them into zombies. Well, now your party has to fight their way through necromancers and zombies for this whole part of the story. But wait, maybe the party doesn't heed the rumors. Maybe the party just wants to do something else and now go on a whole side adventure completely unrelated to what is going on over there. Well, that's fine. It's real easy to fix that. The cultists just end up capturing a number of people and now have a small army of undead. And out of nowhere, they attack the village. Now the party is playing city defense, fighting through hordes of zombies. But wait, what if they don't come back to that city? Then the city is wiped out. Now a massive city of undead and cultists, and the necromancer has a base of operations now. Now that the city's gone, the final boss has become a lot harder, and now they have to deal with it. You can do this sort of setup with any story, but creating events going on as part of your story in another town, or maybe in the town they're in, makes your story progress with or without the party. And they will see the effects of their actions as your story grows, or they'll just see the effects of their inaction, whichever they choose. So basically, by figuring out your story, then building a world around that story, and then creating a timeline of events, you can easily create and run a campaign for the ages. I wish you luck, my fellow DMs and GMs. Hopefully this video helped. I plan to make a bunch more in the future, and I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day.